There's a truth most men never learn, a truth that changes every relationship the moment you finally understand it. A woman can only truly respect a man who is willing to walk away from her. Not out of anger, not out of ego, not out of games, but out of pure, grounded self-respect. Because the moment a man fears losing a woman, he already has. The moment he clings, chases, or begs, she feels his power slip. But the moment he becomes the man who can look her in the eyes, love her deeply, care for her fully, and still walk away if his peace is threatened, that's the moment she sees him differently. That's the moment she feels something she can't fake: respect. A woman may like a man who stays no matter what, but she only respects the man who doesn't need to. And that respect is what creates the spark, the polarity, the attraction she can't manufacture. Because a man who can walk away is a man she cannot control. And a man she cannot control is a man she cannot forget. Before we go deeper into this truth, before we unravel why men who can leave hold the real power, why detachment creates desire, and why respect is born from strength, not softness, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on all notifications to become a Stoic soldier. And anchor today's lesson into your identity by commenting this phrase: "My power is in my ability to walk away." Now, let's begin. Women have an instinct, an ancient subconscious instinct, to sense when a man is afraid of losing them. She can feel it in the tone of his voice, in the way he texts, in the way he waits for her replies, in the way he tolerates disrespect he would never accept from anyone else. And the moment she senses that fear, the dynamic shifts. Because a man attached from insecurity becomes predictable. He becomes bendable. He becomes someone who will sacrifice his boundaries just to keep her close. She doesn't do this consciously. It's not manipulation, it's nature. When a man clings, she loses respect. When he seeks her approval, she loses admiration. When he places her above his own self-worth, she loses desire. Not because she's cruel, but because a woman cannot feel safe with a man who cannot stand on his own. Attachment rooted in fear is the death of masculine presence. It makes you reactive instead of grounded, emotional instead of composed, dependent instead of sovereign. And women feel this shift instantly. They feel when a man is relying on them for validation, identity, or emotional stability. That kind of attachment doesn't make her feel loved. It makes her feel pressured, and the pressure is what suffocates respect. She wants to choose you, not carry you. She wants a man who desires her, not a man who is terrified of losing her. Because when a man fears loss, he loses himself. And when he loses himself, he loses her respect before he even realizes what happened. A man becomes powerful the moment he realizes that his emotions belong to him, not to the world, not to a relationship, not to a woman who doesn't always know what she wants. Emotional independence is the cornerstone of masculine strength, and women feel it instantly. Because when a man no longer needs her reactions to validate his choices, when he no longer needs her affection to feel whole, when he no longer needs her approval to move forward, something shifts. He becomes unpredictable in the best way, calm, centered, dangerous. She cannot manipulate him with distance. She cannot control him with silence. She cannot sway him with mood swings or pressure. His inner world becomes his fortress, quiet, steady, unreachable, without invitation. And that is the moment respect begins. When a man is emotionally independent, he does not ask, "What if she leaves?" He asks, "What if I stay in a place that disrespects me?" He no longer chases answers he already knows. He no longer seeks reassurance from someone who created the doubt. He no longer sacrifices his standards to avoid conflict. His heart becomes disciplined. His mind becomes clear, and his presence becomes something she feels rather than something she controls. Emotional independence is not coldness, it's self-command. It's the ability to love someone without needing them to complete you. And women respect this deeply. They respect the man who chooses them, but is not dependent on them. They respect the man who stays because he wants to, not because he's afraid to leave. They respect the man who can walk away with peace, because that is the man she knows she can never break. A man's willingness to walk away doesn't just protect his self-respect, it sets the entire frame of the relationship, because the man who can leave is the man who decides the terms. When you're willing to walk away, you're no longer negotiating from fear. You're no longer bending yourself to fit her moods. You're no longer pleading, chasing, or proving your worth. Instead, you stand firm in who you are. You communicate through your actions. I will not lose myself to keep you. And that message, spoken without anger, without ego, without emotional chaos, establishes a level of authority she can feel. When you can walk away, everything changes. She tests you less. She respects you more. She becomes more careful with her words, more intentional with her energy, more appreciative of your presence, because she knows you're with her by choice, not by desperation. Walking away is not abandonment. It's leadership. It's establishing the reality that your peace is not up for negotiation. It's showing that you won't compete for the place you already earned. It's revealing that your standards are not flexible just because you care. The man who walks away draws a line in the sand that says, "If this connection threatens my dignity, I will remove myself from it." And that single truth restores the natural polarity instantly. She knows exactly where you stand. She knows exactly where she stands. And that clarity is what creates respect. Not fear, not dominance, not control, but clarity. A woman cannot respect a man she can push around, but she will always respect the man who can lovingly, calmly, confidently walk away the moment something violates his values. Because that man is grounded in himself, and the world bends for the man who refuses to bend for anyone. A woman's entire perception shifts the moment she realizes she cannot control you. Not through silence, not through distance, not through attitude, not through emotional swings, not through threats of leaving. Because when a man is truly grounded, when he isn't shaken by her reactions or hooked by her approval, she feels something she rarely feels in modern relationships: respect mixed with attraction. The man she can't control becomes the man she can't get out of her mind. Why? Because unpredictability, when rooted in discipline, not chaos, signals strength. When you don't break under emotional pressure, she sees you differently. When you don't chase after she pulls away, she reevaluates everything. When you stay calm while she spirals, she feels drawn toward you, not because she wants power over you, but because she recognizes power in you. This is the man she becomes softer around, the man she chooses her words more carefully with, the man she becomes more affectionate toward, the man whose presence she doesn't take lightly. When she sees she can't bend your boundaries, her behavior shifts automatically. She becomes more feminine, more responsive, more respectful, because she sees that you are not emotionally dependent on her reactions. She sees you're not a man who can be puppeteered, and that realization creates a polarity she can't manufacture: the calm, grounded man, and the woman who instinctively wants to align with his strength. A man she can control becomes a burden. A man she cannot control becomes a leader. And leaders are the men women respect without having to be told. One of the harshest truths a man must learn is this: the longer you stay in a place where you're disrespected, undervalued, or taken for granted, the faster you lose your value in her eyes. Women don't lose respect because you're kind or loyal. They lose respect when your kindness becomes self-abandonment, when your loyalty becomes desperation, when your effort becomes a performance instead of a choice. Every time you swallow disrespect, every time you tolerate emotional inconsistency, every time you stay when everything inside you knows you should walk away, you teach her that you don't value yourself. And the moment she senses that, you lose the frame. You lose the polarity. You lose the respect that was holding the relationship together, not because she wanted to lose it, but because you trained her to see you as a man who accepts less than he deserves. Staying too long doesn't make you strong. It makes you invisible. It makes your boundaries blurry. It makes your standards optional. And nothing kills masculine presence faster than a man who refuses to face the truth. When the connection becomes one-sided, when the warmth fades, when the effort becomes unbalanced, the man must be the one who leaves, not to punish her, but to protect himself. A man who stays in the wrong place becomes weaker every day. A man who walks away gains strength the moment he chooses himself. Because here's the Stoic truth: you cannot inspire respect by sacrificing your dignity. You cannot rebuild attraction by begging for it. You cannot revive a dying connection by clinging to it. When you stay too long, you lose her respect. But when you walk away, you regain your own. And that shift changes everything. A woman's behavior changes instantly when a man pulls back, not out of manipulation, but out of clarity. The moment she feels your energy withdraw, she feels something deeper than fear. She feels accountability. When you stop over-explaining, she listens more carefully. When you stop chasing, she becomes more intentional. When you stop rewarding her inconsistency with instant access, she becomes consistent. Your absence forces her to confront her own behavior, because now she sees that the connection doesn't function unless she shows up too. A man who pulls back creates a vacuum, and she feels it, because women don't truly realize what a man brings until the day he stops bringing it. And that change in your presence triggers a shift in hers. She becomes more feminine, more patient, more respectful, more appreciative. She reaches out first. She softens her tone. She stops testing you because the tests no longer work. She stops playing games because the games only make her lose you faster. She starts choosing you with intention, not expectation. Because the moment you pull back, she understands something she may have denied for a long time. Your presence wasn't guaranteed. She has to earn it. She has to value it. She has to treat it with the respect it deserves. The shift isn't because she fears losing you. It's because she realizes the gravity of who you are. When you pull back, she sees the difference between the man she took for granted and the man she now fears losing. And that change, quiet, subtle, powerful, is what transforms the entire dynamic. One of the strongest teachings of Stoic mastery is simple but life-changing. You cannot possess anything you fear losing. The moment fear enters a relationship, power leaves it. Because fear makes you negotiate your dignity. Fear makes you cling to people who've already drifted away. Fear makes you accept treatment you would never tolerate if you were thinking clearly. And the more you fear losing her, the faster she loses respect for you. Women do not admire fear. They admire certainty. They admire composure. They admire a man who knows that his value does not come from who stays with him, but from who he refuses to betray within himself. Fear creates attachment. Attachment creates insecurity. Insecurity creates chaos. Chaos destroys respect. But detachment is power. Detachment says, I want you, but I don't need you. I care for you, but I don't depend on you. I enjoy you, but I do not fear losing you. That energy is magnetic. It's rare. It's masculine. A man who can walk away carries a calmness that cannot be faked. A calmness rooted in self-worth, discipline, and an unshakable identity. That calmness is what makes her feel safe. It's what makes her respect you. It's what makes her follow your lead. Because a man who fears loss cannot lead, but a man who does not fear loss cannot be controlled. And the world, even the woman he loves, responds to him from a place of respect, not power. That is the heart of Stoic mastery. Here's the paradox most men never realize until it's too late. The moment you become willing to walk away is the exact moment she becomes afraid to lose you. Not because you threatened her, not because you played a game, not because you tried to manipulate the dynamic, but because your energy shifted from attachment to choice. You stopped over-investing, you stopped chasing clarity, you stopped accepting breadcrumbs, you stopped proving your worth, and instead, you started moving like a man who knows he can rebuild his entire life without her. That shift in your mentality changes everything. Women feel it instantly, because a man who stays even when it hurts him is a man she stops fearing losing. But a man who can leave even when he loves her is a man she respects on a deeper, almost primal level. She becomes more careful with you, not out of anxiety, but out of recognition. She recognizes your value, your rarity, your discipline, your ability to choose self-respect over emotional attachment. She sees that your life won't collapse if she walks out. She sees that your happiness isn't dependent on her moods. She sees that you are whole with or without her, and suddenly, you become the man whose presence she cherishes, the man whose silence she notices, the man whose distance she feels, the man whose love she no longer wants to risk losing. The man she once took lightly becomes the man she now takes seriously, because a man who can walk away becomes the man she fears losing, not because he's cold, but because he's strong, not because he's detached, but because he's self-anchored. And that truth flips the entire dynamic. The man who once feared losing her becomes the man she now fears losing. And here's the truth that brings all of this together. A woman's respect is not earned through chasing, proving, or performing. It's earned through the quiet strength of a man who refuses to abandon himself. A man who can walk away carries a power most men never experience, because he understands one simple principle. Love means nothing if it costs you your dignity. When you value your peace, your standards, your worth, and your emotional discipline more than you fear losing someone, you rise into a version of yourself that commands respect effortlessly. You don't force her to value you. She naturally does. You don't demand respect. Your presence creates it. You don't argue for your worth. You live in it. And that's why walking away is not weakness. It is the highest expression of masculine strength, because it shows the world and the woman beside you that you are whole, grounded, and unshakable, that you belong to yourself first. If this message resonated with you, if it clarified something in your heart, if it reminded you of the power you hold when you choose yourself, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on all notifications to become a Stoic soldier. And anchor today's lesson into your identity by commenting, "I walk away with dignity." Thank you for watching, brother. Stay grounded, stay disciplined, and never hesitate to walk away from what dishonors your soul.